Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Fab with Matt. Obviously, we're joined with Matt, and this time around, you've got me as your host, which you probably guessed because you're watching this on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it's been a little while. I know you've been recording with Dennis. You've been putting out some stuff on his channel.
Yeah. So the way we restructured Fab with Matt was to be alternating between yourself and Dennis. So one month is with Aaron, 1 month is with Dennis, next month is with Aaron, etc. And then it might chop and change if one person can't make it or whatever. But yeah, unfortunately, every month people have to put up with me. But we kind of give them a good little mix of the other side.
Yeah. If you're obviously, if you're watching this, then you're seeing it on my YouTube channel on Fab Unofficial. The episodes with Dennis are up on his one, which is only Fabs. They are great episodes. Do hunt them down. I'm pretty sure, based on the name, YouTube shadow banning his account or some sort of thing.
I think there's just a lot of things with very similar names, so it's hard to search it. Yeah.
Or at the very worst, you can check out Matt's Twitter. I know you post a link to all the videos, sort of letting people know when a new one's released and stuff like that as well. So.
I always post on the fan page on Facebook. So the Flesh and Blood fan page, I always post a link there. I don't really use Twitter that much. So
Okay, cool. But I guess this is the holiday episode.
Yeah, hey, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas. We're in December.
I should have worn my Christmas jacket.
I know, I just thought about that as I said that. I know. But we have a boatload to talk about this episode. It's been a while. We haven't had an episode with Dennis or I since the World Champs. So we've had the World Champs, Battle Hardened. We're obviously now in the hunted season.
Spoiler season.
So we're going to talk about it all, obviously. We'll start with the World Champs, and then we can talk about Battle Hardened, which was 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the video, Matt and I will be highlighting a few of our, favorite hunted spoiler cards so far, or even just some ones that, I'm still confused about a lot of stuff that we know.
I don't think we should do it at the end of the video. I think we should focus a decent amount of the video on that, because I do think that's what people want to hear. And I'm pretty excited about these new cards. So I think we go through quite a few of them.
And there's stuff as of recording that it's kind of unknown to us. But we'll touch on that when we get to it. Yeah. First of all, let's rewind the clock back. The World Championships happened. We can obviously talk about the elephant in the room, which was a feature match that you were involved in, which we will get to. But already people know that you ended on Enigma.
Yeah.
But how did you come to play that deck? I know not all of the team were on it. What were the sort of thoughts there?
Yeah, Nick Butcher and I and T played Enigma, so basically 3 of us. I'd been playing the deck the whole season. I absolutely loved Enigma, and I was probably going to play that deck the whole way through. I didn't really spend much time on the other team decks or anything like that. I was mainly the Enigma guy for people wanting to test against Enigma, and I was very, very high on that deck. I felt like I had really good plans into everything. So I was playing Count Your Blessings, but I wasn't like a hard Count Your Blessings deck. So I was just able to play the Count Your Blessings plan against things that I really wanted to fatigue and go super long against, and then I was able to play a more aggressive plan into the mirror and a lot of things that I don't need to gain a whole lot of life, or decks that play a lot of hate or anything like that. So I was playing a really mid-range control style.
Well, you had Reality Refractor.
Yes.
Which is a big game with Count Your Blessings. If you want to know what's even better value than playing a Count Your Blessings late game when there's a few in the yard already, it's paying 1 to swing with a Spectral Shield for 5.
And then casting a Count Your Blessings.
It's insane.
Yeah. So Reality Refractor, I wasn't playing it in that many matchups, but it was absolutely key in the matchups that I was playing it against. I found that it was fantastic against Aurora was kind of the main thing, and then it gave you a bit more game into a lot of the fringe decks and a lot of the decks that were specifically targeting what Enigma's trying to do. So the way that a lot of decks beat Enigma is they focus on always clearing your shields and clearing your auras. Lots of go again and that sort of thing. Now, if people attack you with that strategy and you're playing Reality Refractor, you don't care. Your aura's can die every single turn. You only need one. And it's very easy to play one aura each turn, or at the end of their turn, or an aura that Waning Vengeance leaves behind, or pop the arm piece, or whatever. But throughout the game, you can, have one aura and attack for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 with it, depending on how many +1 counters are on it, or even 9 if it's Maragai. It's very easy to do that consistently, and you take massive chunks of damage out of them throughout the game and get them into a state where they have to give you cards, they have to block with things pretty early.
Yeah, well, that's one of the key differences. I know, as you said, like Tarek wasn't on Enigma at Worlds, but I know for the calling I think it was 2 weekends before, I forget where, one of the American callings, he was on Enigma.
He played Enigma the day after.
At the calling.
At the calling at Worlds. So Tarek was on this Enigma deck with me and testing it with me pretty extensively throughout the season. And then kind of, I think maybe 2 or 3 days before Worlds, he switched over to Nu. He is an incredible player with Nu. He top 8'd a Pro Tour with that deck. He loves it inside and out. He switched over to that. Then he switched back to Enigma. Then he switched to Nu. And I think the night before he was testing both decks. So it was a little crazy. But yeah, he eventually decided to play Nu at the Pro Tour. And at Worlds, and a few things didn't go his way, unfortunately. And so the next day he registered the calling with Enigma.
Yeah.
And I think he was playing for top 8 in the last round of the calling, and unfortunately lost a close game against Azalea to just not quite make it in. But yeah.
So there's a few of the team, even though they didn't play Enigma at Worlds, ended up coming around.
Well, a number of the team played Enigma at that calling the next day. So I think a lot of people were really close to Enigma at Worlds, but they didn't quite get over it. The majority of our team were on Dash.io. For Worlds, so which they should be. Dash.io was very, very good.
Well, hey, that leads us on to the main topic, which obviously we've got to touch on when it comes to the World Champs.
Well, the funny thing is, a lot of my teammates said that that were playing Dash.io were like, we're beating everything except for your Enigma build. I was actually testing really well against the Dash.ios in my team, and I felt like the matchup was fantastic. And I played against Dash.io 4 times at Worlds as well. So, I lost one that really mattered.
Pretty key one. Obviously, it was the winning in. You matched up against Sam Southern, who would go on to make top 4 of the World Champs. Was playing Dash.io, known mechanologist player. Obviously he's played that at one of the 2 dashes at basically every tournament I've ever seen him at. So you sit down to playing Enigma. I'm watching at home. Me and Alfie were there. We're flying the Uncle Matt flag, let's go top 8. And I see you take 2 turns, and then Sam draws a number of cards.
Oh no, I got 3 turns.
Oh, 3 turns.
I got to take 3 turns.
Sorry,
overreaction.
Thank you very much. Overreaction. You get to take 3 turns, then Sam goes into, he was deep somewhere in Matrix. In Matrix. He was deep somewhere in Matrix. He probably was plugged into Matrix at some point. He was on something. Because, he drew a number of cards. The system failed all 3 times. He was high on octane, and I don't know, dealt 97 and
75
in a single turn.
Took me from, he killed me from 40 something life. 49 I think I was, or something like that.
You were high 40s, and you had your full, obviously, arm suite in hand to block with that turn
and my balance of justice as well,
which gave you the extra card, or the block value.
But 75 damage in 1 turn, and it was over. He played 3 high octanes, he played 3 Spark of Genius, he played 3 system resets. He drew through the majority. 3 brains drew through the majority of his deck, and unfortunately, that's the deck. The deck has that sort of high roll potential. or it used to before the bannings. Obviously, LSS got it right with that banning then. But yeah, look, the deck can do that sometimes, and it was just really unfortunate that it did it. That it had one of those games when I was battling it for a top 8 spot.
Yeah, I know that such as card games, it was Sam's a great guy. Obviously, congratulations to you, Sam, on what was a great performance. Obviously,
an Oceanic player in the top 8. That was the cool thing about being paired into Sam the last round, is either way there was going to be Oceania representation in the top 8, which we don't get very often.
No, it was good, I think, and obviously. All signs point to you not being washed, which means maybe we can hope for another run in one of the Pro Tours.
I gave it everything I had, man.
It was a great shot. It was a great shot. Congratulations. It was a good, you played well all weekend, like you said. It was a shame that had to happen to you in that moment, but, we play card games, sometimes that happens. But obviously, LSS have dealt with, I still think Dash.io is playable.
It's fine.
Good.
It's a fine deck, and that's probably what it should be.
But it's not hitting that same ceiling. Obviously, most of you will know High Octane now no longer legal in CC, which they alluded to in one of the dev talk download with James prior to the World Champs that was on the watch list, and turns out rightly so.
Ban that and banned Count Your Blessings.
So. Moving on from the World Champs, obviously, fast forward, we had 2 weekends ago now, there was the Calling Kuala Lumpur, which was going on, and the Battle Hard in Wellington. You decided to keep it local.
Yeah, I decided I'd kind of done enough travel this year, so I said to Nick, look, mate, you go. I'm going to hang back and just play a little Battle Hard in New Zealand.
Well, actually, and also on that point, which huge congratulations to Nick, Butcher taking out, Calling KL
with Zen.
With Zen, the man was Mr. Miyagiing people all day.
Yeah, wax on, wax off.
It was good stuff. Yeah. That finals was just a blowout against that Aurora deck.
Yeah.
It was, he was playing really well all weekend, so great to see it. Kind of dominates the APAC callings.
I think he's got first, second, and first in Asia callings now. Nice. So he's definitely one to watch out for. And these Pro Tours and stuff, he's ready to make a name for himself, I think.
Yeah, definitely. There's you can feel the determination. But obviously, you weren't at the Calling. You were at the Calling in New Zealand's capital, down in Battle Harden. Down in New Zealand's capital, playing CC. And in fact, and I'll let you guys in on the secret. The reason why this is actually coming a week or so later than we'd originally intended, because we were scheduled to record, and then Matt said, actually, how about we do it the following week, because then that way we'll be able to talk about the Battle Hardened that I've won.
That way we could talk a bit about the Battle Hardened and what happened in it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that one. Obviously, after the World Performance, and rightly so, you're feeling confident going into the Battle Hardened. You knew you were going to be playing Enigma.
Yeah.
I was actually down in Wellington, not playing, visiting some fam. It's obviously the holidays, so we're hanging out, and I decided to roll up, see how my mate Matt's doing. I'm looking. There's a whole string of tables from 1 through down to 13 or something. Where is Matt gone? Oh, there he is, way back there. What's going on? Roll up your 2-2.
Yeah.
What happened?
I went into that event. I've been testing with Nick, who was on Zen, and I was playing Enigma, and I was really comfortable into all of my matchups, and obviously Zen is a very hard matchup for Enigma, and I just kind of said, look, end of the day, I've gotten the build as good as I can versus Zen. It's still going to be a bad matchup. If I play against multiple Zens, that is what it is. I got to play the gem lottery a little bit there, but I'm really, really happy and comfortable with all of my matchups. And then, I registered Enigma, sit down round 1 and paired against Zen. So I lose a very close game there, win my second round, and then my third round and paired against Zen again.
That third round was, the Zens were doing kind of obscene. The Chase the Tail line's obviously the best value that deck can do. And, I think in some of those games it was like back to back to back, chase the tail lines, and early on applying so much pressure. Yeah, it's kind of like, what can you do? Which is,
it is how the deck's built. It is. Nick's done it to me plenty of times as well. It's exactly how it goes. But yeah, I got absolutely that third round against Zen was pretty sore. He chased the tower 3 turns in a row and then preserved traditioned it back to chase me again. It's like
it's nuts. Which obviously it's my job to review about your losses, but that's not the real reason why I want to bring up the battle hard and the main one is obviously we're kind of done with CC. That weekend marked the end of CC until the Hunted, right? So until we're going to get a whole new set injected into the metagame, and obviously you've been battling with Enigma, Nick's been thrown down with Zen. Like going into the next CC season, which we're going to have. I know we've got the Calling Christchurch, which
is right at the start of the season. Yeah,
they're going to be at, and that also is the first weekend of Road to National season.
Yeah,
with a brand new format. But like before the Hunter arrives, where do you think CC is at? Are you still sky high on Enigma, or do you think Zen is just the best deck in the format, which feels obscene because it's gone through 3 rounds of bannings at this point, crazy, and it's still just winning at all the events, it seems, at this point. Like where are we at?
Yeah, I think Zen's still going to be really good. Zen's just an inherently incredibly powerful deck. Unless they ban Chase the Tail or something crazy, then I think that deck is just always going to be up there. And it's going to be a bit of a menace. But Enigma, I'm not sure is going to stay near the top. So the new set doesn't look good for Enigma.
No.
So obviously Zen's still running around, but then they're like Draconic can be difficult, Ninja can be difficult, that's in the set, and even the tool that they've even given Warrior, a +3 that says damage can't be prevented, that just wipes your whole board.
So that's not just so Jagged Edge, I believe, is that card, which is just the attack reaction +3, damage can't be prevented, so you're going to wipe full ward board states out just like that. But then not only Ninja traditionally has been bad for Enigma, but now you've got a Ninja that is Draconic, which is also seems to be, from what we can gather so far, throwing 1-point daggers at your face alongside full regular Ninja combat chains. And
I cannot see this being good for Enigma. So I think it might be time to put it down.
So you think Zen clearly heading in is just
I think Zen's going to be really good. But hopefully these new heroes will be really good as well. And some old heroes might get a few more tools as well. Like I could see Dorinthia being a good deck again. This +3 and prevent damage can't be prevented is kind of like a pretty big deal. I think Enigma was a big part of what held Dorinthia back, because it is traditionally good against ninjas. It does, it can go long with sort of control decks and mid-range and stuff, but all of the ward stuff is too much for it to get through. Yeah. And then when you've got this +3 and prevent card, and you've got Singing Steelblades to search and everything like that, I could definitely see it getting through.
Well, that to me is the key with Dorinthia, because whenever they add a tool like Jagged Edge into the format, Dorinthia just has this tutor effect. Yeah, with Singing Steelblade, effectively just the consistency of being able to hit it. You get 6 effective copies in your deck, so when you need it, you're more likely to have it there, as opposed to the other warriors, which are just no way to tutor this up. You just got to hope, find it, arsenal it, do whatever. Whereas Dorinthia's just going to have that. It's always seemed to have that added level of consistency when it comes to the warrior heroes, which is. Yeah, I mean, for me, the one thing as well, I think Zen is clearly just sort of separated himself as still the best deck in the format at this point, because it has a good matchup into Enigma as well.
Yeah.
And it does obscenely powerful things, like tutoring your deck almost on demand, especially with the access to Traverse. If you get an early Transcend and you just have that set up, it's just really powerful. and Zen state tokens are just amazingly positioned in
Yeah.
the format, and I don't see that. You know what
Zen
Zen states are going to be there?
Yeah.
Ninjas, warriors, assassins that are poking with 1-point daggers, and now you just have access to, with wax on, wax off, and the chess piece, you've got so much access.
Yeah, exactly. Zen state is very, very good, and that may be why, like, maybe if LSS do feel like they need to put the MST heroes to bed, then we could see maybe a traverse banning.
Well,
that like if you ban traverse, you kill Zen. It's over.
and
Like you
I'm,
put it to bed. I'm for
although,
surely, and you also kill Enigma.
well, we've said that a few times, I think, with Zen. So
Yeah,
maybe he
so
finds
maybe
a way.
we'll-
I don't know. But the one key thing, which I don't think we're going to see a ban, is mainly, and I think they've been quite strategic with the formats that they've placed. Is there is still a bunch of CC battle hardens, I believe,
Yeah.
before the hunted comes up. And if you look at that living
Oh,
legend
Zen have it.
leaderboard,
Yeah.
it's possible for Zen, especially after the calling win
Yeah.
and winning the battle hardened on that weekend. I think he's pushing 900 points
Oh,
now.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
If Zen, I'm pretty sure if Zen doesn't just go before the new CC post hunted, because Living Legends checking weekly,
He
I
goes
could easily
before
see
Pro Tour no matter what.
week
man.
1 or week 2. Yeah, he's definitely gone before.
Okay,
Pro
well
Tour.
that's fine. That's not an
Or
issue
week
then.
2.
For Living Legend, points are doing the job.
Yeah, and then if Zen's going and there isn't as much of the Zen state business going around, you've got Viscerai, Aurora, all this other stuff that's still coming back into the meta. So, this is another great segue. I think we dive into some hunted spoilers.
Some spoilers, all
Because
right.
we talked about a few heroes. I'll kick us off. This one I'm going to just kick us off with my favorite, to be honest. Excuse the phone. But I want to kick us off with what is currently my favorite card spoiled. I am a bit of a Shadow Runeplayed Vincent.
Yeah, you
Except
always
at
have
the
been.
minute I do. I have the
minute.
most. Yeah, I have the most fun playing Flesh and Blood when I'm playing Vincent,
Yeah.
which is saying something because a lot of the time when you're playing Vincent,
You're losing?
you're losing, and I'm still having a bunch of fun. But she's felt so close. There's just this inconsistency with her hero power, where there wasn't quite enough density of blood debt stuff where you wanted to actively banish it, where you just didn't care. There was a few too many turns where you're just banishing something that feels awkward and you just lose all your momentum until, and I have no idea, but this is definitely going in the deck because the card's busted, but I'll pop it up on the screen. But I'm of course talking about Cull, which is a red 0 cost Shadow Runeblade action, blocks 3, which is absolutely key. Where you may play this from your banish zone. If a hero has lost life this turn, you may play it as though it were an instant, so it's got the same Funeral Moon text in that aspect, but this one quite a bit stronger than Funeral Moon, says each hero banishes a card from their hand.
Yeah. I mean, that's always going to be an incredible ability, right? Like,
Yeah.
being able to take a card off somebody for something that doesn't effectively cost you a whole card. So like with your hero ability, yes, you lose a card, but you gain a rune chant token, and like the hero ability allows you to do all this, like play this above rate stuff. So like losing a card isn't the end of the world, and then the fact that you get a card back this way, is huge.
Well, the key thing with this is you can do just one of the obvious play patterns is when you have this in a Rune Gate card. Most often times you're having to banish the Rune Gate card in order to be able to play it for its Rune Gate cost. With this, you can easily just banish this, get the Rune Chant, play, pay, banish your Rune Gate card, and there's a bunch of other stuff you can do in between. Or even just at the base level is you banish this, you don't use it, and it sits in your banish zone because it can be played at instant just if a hero has lost life.
Yeah.
So they attack you 3 block at a break point, take 1 damage, and now all of a sudden you have a better than Scowling Flesh Bag just on demand out of your banish zone on their turn.
Yeah.
Which
is serious disruption because
Yes.
there are a lot of decks that effectively combo, or effectively like do something really big in a turn, and like the last thing that they're doing is like, you know, where it all kind of comes together. And if you can disrupt that, then you can save a huge. It can be worth multiple cards to you.
Yeah, and one of the big things with Vincent, again, obviously we'll talk about other spoilers. I don't want to keep harping on about Vincent. But she's been pretty susceptible to fatigue. A lot of heroes that are able to do it, which has been a lot of heroes, are able just to fatigue her out, and you just can't, you know, put together an end game state like Chain could. Whereas with this, being able to set up and stack multiple of these and navigate your way to an end game where actually you can just try and strip your opponent's hand and have a big turn and force through damage that way is interesting, given that you do have some options to sort of rebuy some of this back into your deck with other Blood Debt cards that exist, and this, you know, maybe you explore some Riftbind stuff, or there's lots of options. I don't know what we're doing, but I'm very excited to sit down, start rolling and playing.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing, like for Vincent, when we were testing against it for Worlds, I remember Tarek messaging me at one point and being like, we might have a pretty bad matchup in Vincent. I don't think it's going to be played, but like, you know, just the fact that you can never keep a board against it makes the matchup really hard. And then I went and played a game against it. I was like, well, what if we just block and literally don't care about doing them damage at all, and literally just block the whole game, board out some auras and stuff, not try to like rely on life there. And then if the matchup felt like unlosable, you were able to just like block them out every game, no matter what they set up. It didn't quite matter because eventually they were always gonna fatigue. They just couldn't push enough damage.
Well, especially with Count Your Blessings even as well. You just can't deal enough damage with your deck because so much of the deck is this rune chant generation, but not on the Viscerai level. You're making 1, 2, 3 in order to play cards for free, which is, it doesn't matter if it's 1, 2 or 3. That's just a card. Pitched away, Arcane Barrier, maybe you sneak one through. But anyway, I'm excited to get brewing and playing with Cull. I think it's really, really strong card. Obviously, it's going to get played in Chain and Living Legend. I think it gives a massive boost to that hero, which was kind of already cool. But I mean, I'm hoping that it's, you know, moved the needle on.
Maybe Starboy won't win everything in Living Legend now. Then
maybe
Chain getting that card is pretty big, I think.
Yeah. I agree. But what's something that you're excited to see? Yes.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's the mic. Okay. Well,
he doesn't do any of this setup, which is why I didn't even realize it was there. That's a spicy one.
Yeah. So chain reaction. So I'm not a big Ranger player. I haven't been a big Ranger player for a little while, but this card's pretty exciting. So there's chain reaction. It's a yellow pitch, 0 cost majestic, and it's you'll chuck it up on the screen anyway. But when this defends an attack with Go Again, you may turn a non-attack action card in your arsenal face up. If you do, you may play it this turn as though it were an instant. So like it's a trap that really that kind of feels a little bit like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like you've activated my trap card, but you really get to do some cool interactive stuff there.
Yeah, well, I think one of the biggest things with the card, because I was pretty excited, and first of all I was like, how is that even good? Because you can't gain action points on your opponent's turn, you can't do all this sort of stuff, but then you realise that things like codexes exist and have all three of them actually have very relevant effects when like played on your opponent's turn. And there's a bunch of other spicy stuff that can happen too. But I think that's pretty cool. Yeah,
so I feel like they keep every single set. I feel like they keep giving like a little bit more to this strategy of Ranger trap, sort of pinging them with traps and playing this.
I think somebody is on record saying that Chris Gehring, who is the lead dev, is a big fan of Riptide. Now I'm pretty sure. Hey, look, I could be putting words, but at worst, it's great content. So I'm just gonna call it Chris Gehring, huge Riptide fan. Okay. But it does seem like Riptide specifically is a hero, and like I said, this trap orientated Ranger, every expansion slot you're getting a card.
Every single set we've gotten something like pretty amazing for the strategy.
No, please, we promise you it's good. Play it.
So I'm interested to the point, like we I've been interested if they're going to keep giving Riptide and this strategy like insane cards. Are they going to go a little bit too far on one of these cards? And this card has the potential to be that, I think. I think this card is the, oh, oops, we didn't really think about that, or we didn't think that would be quite as good as it is, and now that is enough to take the strategy over the top. And yeah, like I think there is some real danger in that, and it could be, as Fab players, we're always looking through cards for the potential broken angle, right? The potential thing that can break the game. And I feel like this card, to me, sits out as something that could be broken.
Yeah, well, I mean, playing actions at instant speed has been proven to be pretty good.
That's usually how you break the game.
Yeah, that's normally
wildfire and whatnot.
Yeah, and also it's even like stuff that way back were being done with spellbound creepers and all this stuff. Lots of powerful things are being able to play things at instant speed. This does that. Who knows what comes from it? But yeah, I do agree. It does sort of strike you as a card like somebody's probably going to find some really busted things to do with this.
Yeah, and I feel like Riptide is a hero that too many people like disregard and say, like that, it's not competitive or whatever. But when Pablo Pintor has played a hero at a pro tour, you can't ignore it. Like,
yeah. Okay, my next one, and this one technically isn't in the Hunted, but a Rampart shield that starts with one block. No, I'm just joking. I'm just messing. Okay. I mean,
that would be broken. With countable assets.
Absolutely broken. A Rampart, pay 1, blocks 2. Busted. No, of course, I'm not going any further without mentioning the new Arachne, the Chaos Assassin hero that they spoiled. Again, I'm going to put it up on screen, and there's a lot to digest with this card, but we've got Arachne Marionette, 4 intellect, 40 health, pretty standard Chaos Assassin hero. Chaos is obviously the new talent that's being spoiled in the Hunted. It reads, your attacks with stealth that are attacking a marked hero, so marked is a new keyword from the Hunted, get +1, and when this hits, this gets go again. And it also reads, and this is the real spice, at the beginning of your end phase, if an opponent is marked, you may become a random agent of chaos. Before we go any further, an agent of chaos, which again, I'll put the one that they've spoiled so far up on the screen.
They spoiled a second one like 10 minutes before we did this.
Literally 20 minutes. You're going to be seeing the first one they spoiled only because I know there's a decent high-res image that I can put up on the screen. Okay. I don't. But yeah, we know 2 of them so far, and an Agent of Chaos is a Chaos Assassin demi-hero.
Yeah.
So we've only seen that with Leviathan before. We've only seen demi-heroes. Now Arachne, the Chaos Arachne more specifically, has demi-heroes that you can transform into, and a whole slew of busted abilities, essentially.
Demi-heroes are really, really cool. Like the Leviathan one has been a lot of fun both playing and playing against. So I'm really interested to see them explore that further.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one, so the first one they showed off, which was
also looks broken.
Arachne Black Widow, which is, again, so it's 4 intellect, which matters because you are obviously transforming into that, but the health is the same as whatever you're on, and it just reads once per turn, attack reaction, discard an assassin card, target assassin, attack, so just attack, can be your daggers or weapons, gets +3, and if it has stealth, it gets, when this hits a hero, they banish a card from their hand. I mean, some of Assassin's most powerful cards say, discard a card, banish a card from your hand. Just having that stapled onto a random Chaos hero that you could potentially turn into that as your hero
ability as an attack reaction.
It's pretty insane. So there's a couple things just to like digest. So obviously, with the way that it's worded, is you return back to the brood when you're the demi-hero. So you return back to Arachne Marionette, so you're only ever the demi-hero for 1 turn. And then obviously, because Arachne transforms into the Demi Hero at end of turn. You're effectively assuming that you can mark and unmark, which I know you're going to talk about after this, being a key part of these cards. You're sort of alternating. You're going to have a turn as Arachne, and then you're going to transform and you have a turn as whatever Demi Hero you've just turned into.
Yeah, the flavour of that's so cool.
You're going
so
back
chaotic.
and forward, and obviously it's random.
Yeah.
So each one of the Demi Heroes are numbered 1 through 6, which we already know, and you're going to effectively, you can roll the dice and you'll transform into whatever. So Black Widow is number 1. So you roll a 1, you're going to get that busted attack reaction. But obviously marked is a key part of this, which I know you wanted to chat about.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, like, we haven't seen a huge amount of ways to keep marking the opponent at this point. So it'll really be in how they structure the set and how you're going to be able to do it. But I think what we've seen in recent sets with things like Transcend and stuff like that is they don't make it too difficult. There's always, you know, you always have to jump through some sort of hoop, but it's not going to be like you're probably not going to like lose a whole card or more in value just to get them marked. So I feel like, it's all going to be the way around the way they do it, but I feel like the things get pretty crazy when you mark them, and if you can keep doing it consistently, that's going to be really fun, and it's going to make the whole deck building and gameplay really interesting. That like the turns where they're marked are going to be so much different than the other turns. You know what I mean? Like this, the ceiling's so much higher.
Yeah, well, I want to actually just have I'm having a little hunt for what marked says. So it's marked because when you hit the hero, they're no longer marked, right?
Yeah, I think
you are marked until an opponent hits you. So the key thing with Arachne is like, so his first ability gives +1 and go again while attacking a marked hero. But obviously, if those attacks hit, they become unmarked. If they become unmarked, then you will not transform at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, even if it's just one cycle of stealth cards that say when it hits, they become marked, or some sort of aspect like that, because that feels to me like it's going to play with that first ability, or like even if that's not turned on, you're able to throw an attack and actually and have the buff potentially and mark them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could see it being a little bit awkward. Like, we have seen a few strategies in the past where it's like a little underbaked maybe for CC specifically. I'm sure it's going to be like, after MST and Rosetta, I'm not doubting LSS's limited game anymore. Like, I've loved the draft formats in recent times, so I'm sure marked works great. But in CC, like you said, you still sort of need to be on that value curve where, like, if it's costing you too many cards, you're losing too much value on every turn cycle just to have the mark to turn into a random Chaos Demi Hero. Yeah. So I'm sort of calling, I think we're going to see an attack that when it hits, it will mark them. Yeah, and there'll be other ways as well. There'll be other ways to get them marked. But I think like what we've always seen from Assassin is like this threat of an assassin trying to stab you, trying to get you somehow, and you have the decision points every turn of like whether you put enough things in front of that to stop it hitting, or whether you just let it hit and just take the poison or whatever the disruption that comes with that is. And what I really enjoy about Assassin is like, those decision points are very different every turn, and like if you fall into the thing of just like letting things hit over and over, you have to play. You're playing from behind. You're playing much weaker turns because the disruptions, like taking cards off you or giving you disadvantage and stuff. But then also if you're blocking too much into it, that's just going to keep snowballing, right? They're just going to get whole free turns after you, where they are either board extending or turning a 4-card hand into next turn they have a 5-card hand because of an arsenal or whatever, while like taking your whole turn as well. So I find it
really interesting to find the right balance playing against Assassin. And playing with Assassin as well. And I think that it's going to be along the same sort of lines. I think it's going to be along the same lines of New and other Assassins that we've seen of like everything's going to be threatening that like, yeah, maybe if you block too much, you become marked as well.
So. I mean, to be honest, like guaranteed, I am building up Arachne Marionette.
Yeah.
Like we don't know yet how good he's going to be in CC, especially when you've got an assassin like Nu that's still available, which is very powerful, very good hero. But one thing is guaranteed: when you play Arachne Marionette already, you are going to have a ton of fun.
And your opponent might not.
Your opponent might not. But like, at least it's interactive. Still, you know, they're seeing you roll the dice. You're doing some random things. It's like, yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun, guaranteed. I just know it. And one of the most powerful things that Assassin have is the core cards that they have access to, which this Arachne Marionette's going to be able to play as well. You still get the Leave No Witnesses, CNC with the Codex of Frailty. You still get the surgical extractions and all the other stuff. It's like, so they've got a really strong core set of cards already established, plus a whole lot of this chaos demi-heroes switching, which is busted. But yeah, I'm excited to build them up and give them a whirl. I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
all right, hit us. What's the next card you're excited for?
This card like has the potential to be incredibly powerful as well. But yeah, it's all going to depend on the other things they print. But Art of the Dragon Blood. It's a majestic, it's 4 power 0 cost, blocks for 3, it's a ninja attack, and it has when this attacks, if it is draconic, it gets go again, and the next 3 draconic cards that you play this turn cost 1 less to play. So
I mean, even just off the bat, you play a ninja, you get a 0 for 4 that blocks 3.
Yeah. Obviously, really high rate straight from the start.
Right from the start. And then that ability is Blood of Drakai, is the fable that we saw in Uprising just stapled to a card.
Yeah, and Blood of Drakai didn't really see much play, but the big difference here is like this doesn't cost you a card, right? Like Blood of Drakai means that you're like, you know, pitching a red or whatever. It's like,
it was effectively like a blue if you were going white, right? It was you got to play a red so you could still fulfill all the draconic stuff, and it's like, but it was just a blue that didn't block.
Yeah. Whereas this is that ability as an extra, as an add-on. This is that whole card as an add-on, right? To something that's still a 4-point card that can get go again for 0 cost. Like, you know, on the kind of value metric, that's just like,
yeah, it's
that's like chase the tail level. Like that is like really incredible value for one card. Depending on how easy it is to make it draconic and how many other draconic cards that you're going to be playing that cost 1 or more or whatever, this card has the potential to just be ridiculous.
At least my thought is this is clearly going to be much better in Syndra than it would be, say, in a Phi. Because of Syndra's ability. We know that I think both Syndra and Fang, that first ability, I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but effectively if you hit a marked hero, you create a fealty token, and the fealty token is the token that you're able to sack off to make the next thing draconic.
Yeah.
So you're able to sort of stack them, set up where you can have a fealty, pop it, play this, get to go again, and the ability, and suddenly just have a hugely above rate turn if you're playing, like, this is a 0 for 4. If this is giving, you're able to play, and is it the next 3 cards? It is the next 3.
The next 3 cards.
The next 3 cards, that's 1/1/1, and they're all discounted for no resource, and you just get to vomit your hand onto the crazy chain.
Yeah.
Obscene.
But, like, I mean, this will need a little bit more than just that hero ability, but we are seeing that other cards are making fealty tokens as well and stuff, so it is going to need a little bit more synergy, but like, you don't need to get the maximum advantage for this card to be like really good and really above rate. If you get even even just a little bit, like if one draconic card costs 1 less to play, then it's already just amazing. So,
the floor, like we talked about, the floor is pretty high on this as well, just as a 0 for 4, block 3. Interesting, as we're talking about this, like even with this card and with Syndra and same with Fang, marking heroes going to be very relevant, even for the draconic ones, in terms of how viable they're going to be in CC. Makes me start to think, given that every hero is revolving around daggers, maybe we see just a 2 cost, 1 power, go again dagger that has on hit. So you are losing a point of value there, realistically. I mean, it's got go again, but really 2 resources for a 1 power go again is not, on rate with other stuff that you're wanting to do. But maybe if it on hit marked the opposing hero, it's turning enough of this sort of thing on where it's worth it.
The rate's good, or the rate's balanced,
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna pull it off, but okay. I got to talk about one more card before we go. This is getting into a long episode.
The final card.
The final card. Where is it?
It's not Spurlock, right? Everybody's talked about that enough.
No, I mean Spurlock.
It is a really cool card though, and
actually screw it. We're talking about Spurlock.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Spurlock. Everybody's talked about Spurlock.
I don't care. That card is absolutely sick.
I mean, it is really cool.
So awesome. Wait, where is it? I mean, I know what it
you've probably read it 25 times by now, everybody else.
Just making sure we're getting it right, otherwise I'm going to get reamed in the YouTube comments. But blue, block 3, 0 cost, chaos action, spur locked, love your work LSS, on that name, awesome. Each hero secretly chooses a number between 1 and 6, then those numbers are revealed. The hero that chose the highest number loses that much life, searches their deck for a card with cost less than or equal to the chosen number, reveals it, puts it in their hand, and then shuffles.
Yeah. Chaotic.
That's chaotic.
That's chaotic.
Not quite as chaotic as Brody's first draft of the card.
No. But I think they did quite well with the end result of this card as well. It is very cool, and it's great that it's blue as well.
A blue block 3.
Yeah, it's a blue block 3. It can be incredibly powerful, but at a big cost. But it's very good against fatigue strategies. Like when you don't care about your life total, you've got a blue card in here that becomes just insanely powerful. Just a demonic tutor.
Well, when you were said what you mean by that is when you're playing against fatigue, they're not really pressuring you in the same ways. Their life total is the one that's going down, and they're eventually trying to sort of stop you and survive, and then eventually just chip you down with anything. More recently, it could be a bunch of spectral shields, or it could be swinging a hammer, it could be any number of things. But when you're just pitching these blues and they come back up and you get to play them, and it's like, oh, you only have 2 life.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really good. It's really good in that respect against a lot of things. But against fatigue, for example, you can sort of play it at any point of the game because you're like, do you want to pay 5 or 6 life? Go for it. And there's still some sub game that you need to make sure you don't pick the same number as they do. But generally, in the early game, as long as you don't pick the same number, it's going to be good for you either way. Either it's going to deal them some damage. It's going to deal them more damage than probably the card that they search is worth. The card they search might be worth 3 or 4 or whatever if they're fatiguing you. And in order to get this off, they're going to have to pay 5 or 6 life.
Well, what you mean by that? So this is key because it says the hero who chose the highest number loses that much life. If you choose the same number,
nobody loses.
No hero chose the highest. So nobody loses the life, nobody searches, and you effectively played Spurlocked you threw it in the bin for nothing.
Yeah.
So there is some game where, if you just both pick 6, if they know that you're going to pick 6, then
you're like, damn it.
But like you said, you can, if they pick 6,
and you pick 5, they lose 6 life, they can have a card, doesn't matter, we just dealt them a lot of damage.
Yeah, well, even the poster child for massively great rate on card, something like a Sink Below. Yeah. They paid 6 to get a Sink Below which defends 4.
Yeah, but also you'd usually be doing this at the end of the chain as well, or sort of later on in the turn. So it's they search up a card and then you don't give them another opportunity to block. if they're fatiguing you, that card's going to attack you for some irrelevant life that you don't really care about. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to do a whole lot unless it's like proper disruption. So it fits into what you're trying to do quite well against fatigue, but also against, like, in just a normal game of Fab, this is a blue that you can pitch throughout the game, and you get down to the end game. If you get your opponent to 1 or 2 life, like, this card is incredible, right? Because they always have to choose at least 1. But if they can't choose 2 because it would kill them, then, you know, you can maybe choose 2, or maybe you worry that they have balls of steel and that they've chosen 2 to try to cancel your 2, so then you have to choose 3. But either way, you're going to be able to, you know, pay some small number of life to get that card.
What you just said there is exactly why this card is going to be awesome. Yeah. And Brody, we know you're a huge fan of Fab with Matt and the channel, so we know that you're watching. So we're saying this. I know you were so chuffed, but like, if it was, you should be so chuffed with this card.
You need to be proud of this.
You should be so proud of this card. It is so awesome. Like, you know, you get a lot of grief for your original concept, but I think LSS has sort of taken the heart of what it was and showed why they've created such an amazing game, because something has come out of it, which is actually freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Because exactly what you said, they only have 2 life. But they could pick 2, thinking that you're, you know, and just game it. My opponent's going to assume I'm going to pick 1 because I can't pick 2, otherwise I die. I'm just going to pick 2 because I reckon they're going to pick 2. Cancel it out, nothing happens, you lost a card.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many end games where this card's played, and there's an entire tree of things that happen that are completely different to what happened the last time you played it in the same situation, which is why I think this card is fantastic. Lots of cards, they do the thing, that's what they do, it's pretty upfront, whereas this card is going to create some pretty wicked play patterns and just fun things in game that are just going to be awesome.
I imagine that, I actually don't know how the process works, and I don't know how they did it, but I imagine Brody continued to work with LSS on this card as well. Or I'd like to think that that's the process.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think they came to an incredible end product.
Yeah. Well,
and it really excites me. I'm really excited about the whole concept of these and the fact that there will be more of them, and other people will get to create cards as well. People from the community. I think that's really, really cool.
Well, I think, if we know anything about us, that they do like to create things that are special. They do have like limited runs and things. Like, clearly, because we didn't have one this year, like, it's not going to be a year on thing. It could, I don't know, you know, total speculation. It could be every 5 years they have a celebration, or for 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, and these become pretty rare and unique cards that just sort of, you know, have a bit of aura.
Nah, have it every year. Come on, LSS.
So, I mean, I'd be down for it too. To be fair, it'd be so awesome. I think that card, I'm glad actually you brought that up. I was almost going to talk about a different card, but that card's actually sweet. And another reason why I'm excited to build up Arachne Marionette, because obviously it is chaos, and the new Arachne is going to be the only hero who can play it.
Yeah.
So not only am I going to be switching in and out of demi-heroes and rolling dice and doing all sorts of other stuff, I'm going to be paying life and tutoring cards and mind gaming your opponents. I think
silent auction. That's what he called it originally, right? Silent
auction. Yeah, I think so. So really, really cool. Really, really excited about the Hunted. About again, what I said, what's probably going to be an awesome draft set. And before we head off, we're actually going to be playing CC with the Hunted Legal on the very first weekend after its release at the Calling Christchurch.
Yep.
Both me, you, and Dennis are going to be there.
Yep.
And we were honoured that LSS gave us some content creator promos, the Scarf for a Scarf, which you guys would have seen out and about on Twitter and social media and other content creators' channels. We're going to be bringing our Scarf for a Scarf promos to the Calling Christchurch, and I believe the way that we're going to do it is both myself, you, and Dennis, we're going to have promos on hand. If you beat us at Calling, not only do you kick us to the curb,
you loot us as
and
well.
give us the L, you also loot our pockets, and you'll get a promo from us.
Scarf for a scarf.
Yeah.
We're also going to be choosing armories before that as well,
Yeah.
and all three of us will be turning up to local armories with scarf for a scarf, and you'll be able to loot us there as well. So So let's see which one of us loses the most scarves.
Yeah. Well, I think we've had a chat because obviously is some. There's not too. There's Elo on the line, but we have had a chat, and I'm committed to not dropping from day one.
Yeah.
I'm not. Trying to. I'm not.
Look, it's all right. When you run out of scarf for a scarf, I'll have spears. You can take some of mine.
But I think what I'm getting at is that is the point. We won't be. There's no chance of us 0-3ing and walking out of there with our scarf for scarf promos. I think all three of us are pretty much committed to. We're playing. Day one at least.
Play every round, and yes, I guess we have to put that disclaimer while stocks last. If all of us go 0-5 or something at the start of the calling, we might not have any left.
We're splitting it. We're making assumptions that we're going to.
Should we unevenly split them? I probably only need 4, and you guys have
Well, that doesn't sound great for any of us either, because 4 losses doesn't make top 8 of the calling usually.
I'm counting the armory as well. The armories or whatever.
Okay. We'll figure it out. Either way, you beat us, you'll get a scarf promo while stocks last.
Yeah.
Remind us, but all three of us will have them on us. We'll be in game mode. I'm pretty excited for that. So we get to pre-release, then crack the product we've ordered on release weekend, and then we get the week lead up to cram and CC testing, and we got expansion slot cards like Cull to test with new heroes like Vincent, and obviously all the new stuff between Syndra, Fang, and Arachne that's coming. I think it's going to be an amazing weekend, and if you can get to the Calling Christchurch, I would implore you to book tickets, book some accommodation, and come down. I know Iron Knight Gaming are the ones that are running the event, and been to a few events that they've run here in New Zealand. It's always a good time. The team that do that, they were running the Battle Hardened. They do a great job. But more than that, Matt and I will be there. So you get to come and say hello.
But New Zealand and the South Island stuff, Christchurch, it's a beautiful place. If you get an opportunity to come over to New Zealand for an event, don't pass it up. Definitely come hang out. It's really close to Queenstown, which is the most beautiful place on earth.
When we say really close, it's not like the neighbouring town, but New Zealand's small enough where you come to Christchurch and you just you can rent a car and go on a bit of a drive.
Oh, just walk down the road.
Yeah, just walk down the road.
Joke.
Yeah, exactly. But it is close enough, and the South Island is beautiful. If all my family stuff wasn't up here in Auckland, I might be in a little bit more idyllic, scenic South Island town. But come hang out at the Calling Christchurch. It's going to be an epic event, and there is nothing better for me than a new constructed format a week after release, when it's the full-on wild west of what's going to happen. You get to be, have the opportunity to sort of set the stage for the CC format and Road to Nationals to come. Great event. I'm sure we'll probably see, maybe we'll see Brody there chasing down Player of the Year points and playing Spur Locked. I'm putting a call now. Brody, if you come and are not playing Spur Locked at the first Premier level event where you're allowed to, I reckon, give the card back.
You're going to be disappointed.
I'll be so disappointed. I want to see that man playing Spur Locked on camera.
Brody, I think you should play whatever is most likely going to win you the event. Chase Player of the Year, and don't worry about Aaron's approval.
See, my approval means very little to you. But clearly, these are the two sides of the couch, right? I'm here. Let's cause some chaos and have fun. And Matt's like, victory at all costs.
Let's have fun being victorious.
Fair enough. I think on that note, we'll leave it there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And until next time, we'll see you in 2025.
Cheers.
Catch you.